Hola, this is the last and fourth episode of Career Development Journey with Phoneix, and today we're going to be talking about getting out of your comfort zone. Probably one of the most difficult things to do, but one of the most important things to do. Hope you enjoy it and see you next time.
Applying for a new job is really scary. And you look at these job ads and you feel like the person that they really want to hire doesn't exist. They have 8 years of Java experience and they've done work with AWS and they know all about databases and they know this and that and the other. And you're looking at this list going, and they want to pay market rate for this person. And I get this a lot, especially from junior developers. They'll be applying for a role, or they'll be looking at a role, and they'll say, gosh, there's so many things in this list that I don't know, or I've only just barely been introduced to. And to be honest, I think that's okay. Having put out these listings before and having spoken to a number of companies, because I do sponsor junior developers. I mentor them also, and I also sponsor them. There's a distinction between those two that we might cover at some point. But short version is I will act as a sponsor to some junior developers, and so I have these conversations with hiring managers as well. And the fact is that these job ads, they're looking for a unicorn. Yes, if they find the person who has all the skills, that's maybe great. Actually, I might even challenge that. I might even say they don't want the person who has every single thing on that list. But it is very much like a wish list. But kind of what we were talking about before, managers do expect their employees to grow. They do expect to invest in their team members and their developers, and they want their developers to learn new skills. So as long as you are capable of doing, I would say, the majority of the things in that list, and you can demonstrate that you have other skills that you can bring to bear, or you have transferable skills, or you're just such a great person, then I think they'll have confidence that you can develop everything else that's sort of deficient, if you will. At any rate, if you could do every single thing on the list, you're probably overqualified anyway, and they'd be underpaying you. I think there's the rule of thumb that I have, although who knows if it's useful or not, but I say if you've got at least 60% of the required skills, then go for it.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to submit a CV and a cover letter. It doesn't take a lot of your time. It's a little bit of practice. You do a bit of research. Plus, depending upon how you go about it, you may know somebody second degree connection at that company. So that gives you opportunities to have some conversations or to build some connections. So you're already sort of starting a relationship with that company, even if it doesn't lead to an interview now. Who knows what it could lead to down the road. So there was another case where I was interviewing for a role. It was a VP engineering role, and actually got this is the same feedback that although they were very diplomatic about it. What did they say? They said something like, "We're concerned that with your strong tech focus, you would not find a people-oriented role very engaging," or something like that. I was like, okay, message received, got it. However, then they said, but we are going to be hiring for a head of R&D position later this year. And actually, we think you would be a really good fit for that. And depending upon what you're looking for, maybe we could even push that forward by a few months. And so by applying for a role that, I wasn't totally out of my depth. I did have some relevant experience for that particular role. But by applying for a role that I knew was maybe a bit of a stretch for me, even though I didn't get that role, it did open the door to another role that I didn't even know about because they hadn't started interviewing or advertising it yet. So that was one. And the other example I want to give, and this is not mine, but this was from a junior developer who just recently landed an internship. And I wish she could tell her story. It's amazing to hear her tell it. But the short version is this. She was applying for this internship, and it was for this, an OpenStreetMaps type project. And one of the things they were looking for was they said, okay, now please give us a demo or show us a project you've worked on in the past where you've used these skills. So we don't necessarily want to bring just anybody on. We want you to have some existing experience with this system. And she didn't have any existing experience. So she just kind of built the project that they were going to hire her to work on anyway. And then she just submitted that. And needless to say, she did get the internship. I think she's going to do very well. Right. But again, if she just looked at it and said, well, I don't have any of this experience, so therefore I guess this role is not for me, she would have missed up an amazing opportunity.